And we're back. Seth, I want to talk to you about your website, Local Heroes from Northwest, or NW.com. You started putting that together, and it's actually a really nicely done website, by the way, but
Thank you.
You put that together not so much to showcase yourself as much, I guess, almost like more of a way to showcase up-and-comers and sort of the little guys, as you put it.
Yeah, absolutely. The reason I'm where I'm at today is because people up there saw that I have a passion and I'm trying to go after something I want to do, and they took me under their wing and gave me opportunities, and now I'm trying to do that the best way I know how for other people. And so I don't have any money to give these guys. I don't have anything other than exposure, but that's priceless, because you can write for a magazine, and I've networked with other websites, my own website, a free publication here in the Northwest called Whiteout Magazine, and I write for them. They don't pay me, but I write for them, and I'm able to create exposure for up and coming athletes. And I meet people. This young guy named Taylor Fisk, he's like 17 years old, and he's gnarly on a snowmobile, and that wasn't the crowd I was going after, but I saw photos like, this kid's sick. Called him up, we've chatted, we've never met in person, but I like where he's at. He's really going after something. And I said, you know what, I'll get behind you. And I slapped something on the website, and bam, people are going, who's this Taylor Fisk guy? And his sponsors are coming back, we'll double the percentage of discount we gave you last year. We'll throw in this for you. And he's loving it. I met another crazy guy named Tyler Leary that's up in Montana, and he's just crazy on anything he does, a quad, a snowmobile, whatever. And these guys, they're out there, and I want to help bring them exposure, because I'm where I'm at today because people came along me. And I'm a no-name guy from a town of 500 people in Central Oregon, and I'm riding on the biggest stage in the world in terms of working with the bomb squad. And so I love to use that to reach out to other guys and say, hey, I'll come alongside you and help you and do the best that I can for you, and kind of help steer them along that path. And if they can reach to great success, then awesome.
Nice. Paying it forward.
That's right.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll do the same to people behind them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's talk about that little 500 resident town, Dufur, Oregon, not far from our studios right here in the Dells. And so you grew up there, and then 9 months ago, it was just about 9 months ago, you moved to Southern California, Temecula.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's got to be a big change, right?
Oh yeah, it's funny because to the people in Southern California, where I live in Temecula, is like the Dufur of Southern California. I go visit people in Newport, and they're like, "Oh, you live in Temecula," and so I was like, "Yeah, it's great. There's horses out back. I feel like I'm home. There's more people, but it's country. It's the country of Southern California." So in that respect, it's great. Traffic's a little tough to get used to, but I'm living in and around everything I've always wanted to. I've known since about the 5th grade that Temecula is the mecca of the freestyle motocross world, and I've had my sights set on it since then. Okay. And so it's a welcome change. I'm happy to be without all the rain that we get here that keeps things lush and green. But man, it's awesome, and I love being down there. And I wake up every day, and someone calls, "Hey, we're going to the track, or we're hitting ramps." Like, great, I'll come take photos or whatever. And so I'm getting an opportunity to experience that. So it was a welcome change.
So you really are living your dream.
Every day, I wake up so thankful to God that I get an opportunity to do what I live. And there have been struggles and difficult times along the way, and roadblocks, and there still are, and there still will be. But I'm so grateful to be doing something I love, whether that's taking photos or writing a story about these up-and-coming kids, or working with one of my childhood heroes that's an X Game champion or a desert racing champion, and I get to go hang out with them and write stories and photos or go to the races. And I mean, it's just literally living in a dream world of all the stuff that I've seen in magazines and movies and on television for the last 15 years. I get to live in and amongst every day, and it's just awesome.
Well, so were you actually, would it be safe to say that you were actually unhappy here before going down there? I mean, was your life just sort of not what you wanted it to be, or? It
was a struggle, because I've wanted to be down there and doing that all of my life, and I'm passionate about what I do, and passionate about motocross and motorsports, and that's just something that's been on my heart all of my life, and I really just wanted to be a part of it. And there isn't much of that scene up here. Mm-hmm. I watched through the windows of magazines and movies as the world as I knew it and wanted to be a part of passed me by. College was that way, as I sat in a dorm room in Illinois going to school. And I moved back and worked in a bank for a year and a half, and just was like, man, I want to be out there doing this. And it never happened. But people say everything happens for a reason, and I believe God has a plan and a call on my life, and man, I believe that's included some obstacles and some tough times here, but it's prepared me for being where I'm at. You know, I never wanted to go to college, but I'm glad I did because it took 4 years out of my plan, but I'm a heck of a lot better prepared to be where I'm at doing what I'm doing now than I would have been.
Yeah. And it sounds like, too, as you kind of move more into sort of the business side of this sport and this industry, those skills that you learn in college can come in really helpful. What about the inspiration to actually make the move? How did that come about? What happened to actually just 9 months ago go, I'm headed out?
I got a phone call from our owner, Wes Miller, who was the guy I looked up to for producing videos and creating the Bomb Squad and all that. I'd been talking to our manager, the Bomb Squad's manager, BC Vaught. He helped me kind of like, we might be able to take you under our wing and whatever. And last-ditch effort, sent him an email like, I'm unhappy here. I want to come. Can I come down for a tryout? If you don't like me, I'll turn around and go back to Oregon. And Wes called me one day. I was sitting in the break room at my bank and said, yeah, you can come down if you want to try it. I walked into my boss's office and said, I'm done. That was a Thursday, and I was in my truck on Monday headed to Southern California.
Yeah.
My 30-year-old truck with a toolbox, my four-wheeler, and a suitcase in the back, and a tent in case I didn't have a place to stay.
Well, it sounds like you were well prepared.
Oh, dude, I was loving it. It's been great ever since.
That's a great outlook. I love that.
Thank you.
Well, hey, Seth, awesome guy. Really
Thanks
a pleasure to get to meet you and talk to you. So I'm going to bend you a little more after the camera's shut off here because I got more questions for you.
Okay.
But we're out of time, you guys. Thanks for joining us. Seth, again, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Coming all the way up from Temecula. And look forward to seeing you guys next time right here on Localite. John Compton here saying thanks again for watching. And remember, if you've got a guest idea, let us know. Just visit localite.com.